Welcome to San Angelo as we continue on the Texas run on the 2005 Wrangler Pro Rodeo Winter Tour. Hi everybody, I'm Jeff Metters, with me is Butch Knowles. Speaking of that Wrangler Pro Rodeo Winter Tour, everybody working hard trying to rack up the points so they can qualify for the $500,000 Baseball County Pro Rodeo Shootout in Reno coming up early in the summer. Usual suspects already making some noise. Races really are starting to take shape.
Well, you're right. You know, we've been watching a lot of jockeying for position, but there's a few contestants, they've had great success. For example, Bobby Moulton, the bareback riding, or Sherry Servey in the barrel racing, they can seal the deal right here at San Angelo and get on to Reno. But on the other side of the coin, well, there's some guys that are just starting to make a move. That's going to put a little more pressure on them. I think we're set for a great short go.
And we will start in bareback riding. Matt Mosier, first guy to go, Classic Pro Rodeo. Hostage is the horse that he has drawn. Matt lives in Wild Horse, Colorado.
Well, this is an NFR horse, Jeff, so Matt knows he's got his chance. And look at Hostage, kind of wild. You know, when you talk about wild, you don't know what this horse is going to do. You can see him. He's electric, moves, fakes one way, fakes the other. The thing I like about this horse, and I'm sure Matt does too, he bucks with his head down. And usually when they do that, it takes the power away because they're moving forward in the jumps. They pack you through the jumps, and they look cool, and Matt Mosier knew that.
29th in the world standings a year ago, works on the family ranch when he's not rodeoing. His rodeo idols, the Garrett brothers, and that's two pretty good role models right there.
Yeah, not too bad. Not too bad to have a couple idols like that. That was an outstanding ride.
Fun ride. 78 to start things off here in San Angelo. Scott Montague next to go. Backstreet from Servey Championship Rodeo is the horse, and Scott's a guy that knows the way to Las Vegas. A couple of Wrangler NFR qualifications. Those came in 01 and 02, and he's also past Rookie of the Year.
You know, and Scott's one of those guys. He's been to the Wrangler NFR 3 times. He could really get into position to win a world title at any time. He's one of those guys that just rides with that, you know, that electricity, that enthusiasm. He's aggressive. He goes for first every time. Backstreet, typical circle right there in front of the chute. Nice to ride. Scott, good mark out. You can see how he holds his feet, sets that ride up. You can see this horse right around comes around right in front of the judges. So they get a good look at the horse. You can see Scott, big, strong finish, opens up with his feet. When Backstreet comes out of that spin, everything looked good.
30th in the world standings a year ago, 79 the score for Scott Montague. And now to Eric Swinson, Bonham, Texas. Made the short go in Denver, made the short go in San Antonio, and Eric off to a pretty good start in the new year.
Well, he's in the top 3 on the tour right now, and Swinson, you're right, he's off to a great start. You know, we were just at San Antonio 6 days ago, and we're right back here at San Angelo. Swinson right there. And one of the things I've noticed about the winter rodeos that, you know, way back in the old days when I used to go to them, the quality of this stock, Jeff, is just tremendous. If you make the finals at one of the big winter rodeos now, you are going to get matched up with some great stock. And, you know, San Antonio proved it with 14 contractors. They bring at least 5 or 6 here to San Angelo. You know, the committees, Mike Servey, the guys that put them on, they've really stepped up and made it better for the Cowboys, and it reflects.
Swinson has not been to the Wrangler NFR since 1999. Won some big rodeos, though. He won Oakdale, Pikes Peak or Bust, Lewiston last year. Stetson Herrera next to go. 80. Eric Swinson has the lead in the short go.
Well, this is a horse called Grit Your Teeth, and when you look at the name, it would kind of scare you a little bit, but this is a pretty nice horse. You can see, head down like I mentioned on the first horse, so that's a day off if you're a good bareback rider. Stetson knew it. Set up there, made no mistakes during the ride. You know, the horse didn't kick as strong through the finish of that ride, though, and I think that's going to show up when we find out what his total score is going to be, because as the score goes, you know, you start with 25 points for the animal, and then what they don't do that brings them down, he's going to probably get marked about 17 or 18 points on that horse.
So 76 is the score for Herrera. Swinson in the lead at the moment with an 80. Midway point, more bareback riding in San Angelo when we come back. OLN's presentation of the San Angelo Stock Show and Rodeo from San Angelo, Texas. Tour stop number 4 on the Wrangler Pro Rodeo Winter Tour is brought to you by Wrangler, for the cowboy in you. By Coors, premium Rocky Mountain beer, no scars, no stories. By Jack Daniels, crafted with care since 1866, please enjoy it the same way. And by Pace Pecani, made in the Southwest the right way. Pace, grab the Southwest by the bottle. Eric Swinson tops the leaderboard, 80 points. Scott Montague in second place. Next guy to go, though, 2002 world champion Bobby Moat. This is Starlight from Mike Servey as we go behind the chutes, thanks to Dodge.
Well, you know, I know Bobby Moat is excited about this. You see the highest qualified ride on the horse, that's 83 points. Bobby Moat has done that twice on this horse. That's him who holds the record. So confidence is high. He knows that he can handle it, and Bobby Moat has a chance to move to the lead. What a great bareback rider. He's top 3 on the tour, top 10 in the world, and right now I think he's going to move right to number 1 in this rodeo. When you look at the control, you look at the aggressive ride, that is a day off for Bobby Moat.
Big swoop to start it, and Bobby didn't even bobble. This is a guy that made over $337,000 in 2001 and 2002 combined. And you can see why right there. Big, strong, 84 points. Bobby Moat moves to the lead in the round. D.V. Fennell next to go. Stroud, Oklahoma. Baby Doll Dip, another horse from Mike Servey.
Well, you see him slide up in that nod. The mark out is so important. Oh, spurred over that horse's neck right out of there, but came right back, good and square. Boy, Baby Doll really got it on right out of the chute. That horse really bucked, but then kind of weakened just a little bit as he went down the fence down the arena. But look at this move right here. Spurs over his neck right there. They'll dock him a little bit for that one mistake. Didn't really hurt him too much, though. He got his feet right back in there, but then Baby Doll kind of takes off a little bit on him. I think that's going to show up in his score because the judge is going to drop what they marked that horse a little for that.
75 is the score. We have 2 bareback riders left. That's Clayton Fultine, maybe better known for his bull riding. 16th in the world standings in bull riding a year ago, despite just graduating from high school. Bumped out of the top 15 on the last day. Very talented bareback rider as well.
Oh, he is talented all the way through. You know, he was the bull riding champion at the Denver Rodeo earlier this winter. He won the bareback riding championship at Pendleton, Oregon a year ago. You know, he just got out of high school. He went to the high school national finals last summer. This kid has star written all over him. You can see how easy he rides this horse. He's aggressive. See how quick he sets those feet. You know, he's kind of like Ty Murray. We used to wonder which was his best event. Clayton's fallen right into that category. I'm not sure what he does better, ride bulls or ride bareback horses. He does them both great.
And looks a lot like Ty Murray.
He even looks like him.
Scott Drennan, last guy to go. So Fultine in there with an 80. Bobby Moat still in the lead. Drennan needs to be 85 or better to win the short go.
You know, Scott Drennan's one of those guys. He's knocked on the door as far as the Wrangler NFR is concerned 2 or 3 times. He was out with injuries again a year ago, so he's back. I talked to him before the rodeo. He says, I feel good. I'm glad to be back. And, you know, when you look at that ride, no mistakes for Drennan. It is good to see him right back on the rodeo.
So where will that leave him in the short go standings? Moat in the lead with an 84, 76 for Scott Drennan. Well shy of Bobby Moat. And there is Bobby, the past world champion, tips the hat. And let's take a look at that leaderboard. Moat with an 84, Fultine in there with an 80, Eric Swinson with an 80. And our Wrangler Pro Rodeo winner tour standings, Ryan Gray off to a super start this winter. And Bobby Moat, if he has a good start early in the year, he's dangerous.
Yeah, I've been fortunate enough the first few tour rodeos I've been to, I've got points at all of them. So, I mean, I'd like to have her locked up early, so that's good.
Locking it up early. How will you approach the back half of the winter tour then?
Same way as the front half. I want to win as many dollars as I can. So the points are, you know, I mean, you got to have points to go to the tour finale where you can win more money than any other rodeo. So, I mean, that's important. But every one of these rodeos pays a lot of money too. So, I mean, that doesn't change my approach at all.
So Bobby Moat, a lock for the winter tour finale, the Pace Pecani Pro Rodeo Shootout in Reno. He just needs to move up in the Jack Daniels world standings. Steer wrestling coming up. More from San Angelo right after this. Back in San Angelo, and this will wrap up the Texas run on the Wrangler Pro Rodeo Winter Tour. Steer wrestling next to go. Tudor Silver from Warner, Oklahoma. steer wrestles with guys like Oatberry, the Duvals, so they train them well down there around Shakota.
He runs in a great crowd, doesn't he? And when you look at the list, 2.8 seconds separates the top 12 guys in this event. So it's whoever gets the best steer will really set the pace. And Tudor, I think he just did it right there. 3.8 seconds. You can see how excited he was. That was a good steer, but you know, that didn't make it any easier for Tudor. He still had to get out, catch him, and get him down, and that was a super run. 3.8 seconds.
And that's really going to give these guys something to think about in the rest of the short go, the high fives there. And yeah, 3.8 may be awfully hard to unseat Levi Wisness next to go, North Dakota Cowboy. And he needs to take some chances. 3.7 or better to take the lead in the short go.
Levi's a good steer wrestler. In fact, he qualified for the Dodge National Circuit Finals, which is coming up in a few weeks, so he'll head to Pocatello, Idaho. But right now, he's thinking San Angelo all the way. But you can see this steer when you compare it to the one that Tudor just had. Ran a little harder, got him down the arena, and that slowed the run down.
Tyler Holzum next to go, Oakdale, California.
Boy, good start. You can see that barrier come right off the chest of that horse. So Tyler took a run at that 3.8. That steer wasn't quite as quick a steer to handle on the ground, though. 4.4 seconds, so that's going to put him in second place.
If you're going to unseat that 3.8, you're going to have to wrestle this steer in pretty close proximity to the box.
Yeah, and it was close, but you can see how this steer kind of hung up just a little bit, and he was just a little more lethargic as he went down. He just wasn't as quick a steer.
Meyer brothers, a part of this short go. Rope Myers, world champion in 2001. Finished in the top 5 a year ago.
Yeah, 9 trips to the Wrangler NFR, $1.2 million on the career. And he won $60,000 last year at the Wrangler NFR, but 5.1 seconds. You see Rope get up, a little disgusted. And that shows what the pressure that Tudor Silver puts on these guys. You know, you can't make one little bobble and think you're going to be quicker than 3.8. They got to run at the barrier.
Jewel Hansen next. Cash Myers, Rope brother, he's on deck.
Good steer. Oh, he just hung up a little bit, or he may have had it.
Got a great start at him, and looked like he was going to be quick.
He was going to be quick. If you watch this steer, everything was quick, but he may have been just a hair quick to the nose. You know, I mentioned a lot of times, timing's so important. If you go to the nose a little early, it changes the momentum of that steer as he goes into the fall. It hung him up just a hair, but a hair was, well, it put him out of the lead in this round. That's what it did.
And there is Cash Myers, 5 trips to the Wrangler National Finals Rodeo, once in tie-down roping. Out most of last year with injuries. He told me he's really eyeing the all-around world championship. He thinks he can end Trevor Brazil's streak.
Well, he very well could do it because he is very, very dominating in a lot of events in the time of an end. That steer really broke hard, came left on him. That slowed things down a little low for Cash. He's in the world standings in the tie-down roping right now. He'd like to make his move in the steer wrestling.
Bo Franzen, last guy to work. 3.8, Tudor Silver, first guy out, still has the lead.
Well, Bo Franzen, this is Hank Franzen of Powder River Rodeo Company. That's Hank's nephew right there, and Bo is off to a great start this year. He's number 3 in the world standings right now. And that right there, it's not going to let him win this round, but I think it will let him win the rodeo here at San Angelo. So his trek up the world standings is continuing right here.
Tudor Silver put 3.8 on the board. Nobody else was even close. Tyler Holzum in second with that 4-4. Wrangler Pro Rodeo Winter Tour standings. Chris Bradley has the lead. Garrett Noakes is right up there. Silver won today because he had a pretty good story on his steer.
I talked to Stockton Graves running first, and I talked to him earlier, and he said just try to take a chance at the barrier and see what happens. And so that's all I tried to do, is just see what I could get done. I tried to max the start and see what happens. So it worked out great.
So you won the Prairie Circuit. Now picking up some pretty big tour points. You starting to eye that big pace finale in Reno?
Yeah, that's one of the dreams of mine, is go to one of them and make the Wrangler NFR. So that's ever since I was a little kid, that's always what I wanted to do.
Jack Daniels, world standings. Bo Franzen hard at work, has the lead, almost $25,000 in the bank. Jason Layer also in the top 5. Time for the team roping, and we'll see a few world champions in the mix here in this short go. Starting with the very first team, David Key roping with Clay O'Brien Cooper. Of course, Clay, the healer there, 7 times he's been a world champion. Started movies with John Wayne when he was a kid. He's a pretty good all-around cowboy.
Yeah, he is. You know, David Key, he's one of those guys. They teamed up a year ago. It looked as though they had a chance to win a world title. They won $41,000 at the Wrangler NFR, but they let it slip away. And here you can see David Key. I don't know if his rope got hung up a little bit when he left the box, or if he just dropped his spoke, but either way, had a little trouble, had to regroup, and it cost him getting down to the end of the arena at 9-8.
Mikey Fletcher roping with Kip Harrell. Just have to beat 9-8.
Oh,
good start.
Yes, that is a good start. That's a quick loop on the corner. And I'm looking at it from maybe a crossfire standpoint, but no, it's clean. So that's as quick as you could turn one loose. 5.4 seconds. That's a big run.
So they move into the lead. Key and Cooper in second place. Nick Coates will be the header. Jake Twizzleman the heeler.
Well, that 5 and 4 now, that's going to make the boys really take a run at it. And you can see this steer. He breaks and sprints out of there like he stole something. One hind foot's going to cost him a 5-second penalty, so that brings him in now at 12 flat. Little trouble there at the end of that run.
So Fletcher and Harrell still have the lead. 12 flat for Coates and Twizzleman. Now to Travis Tryon and Alan Bach. And Tryon 15th in the world a year ago. Roped with Matt Zancanella most of last year. 4 straight appearances at the Wrangler National Finals Rodeo. Alan Bach, 3-time world champion and one of the best healers ever.
Yeah, and 20 appearances at the Wrangler NFR. That is a veteran, and you know, that's a good deal. If you're Travis Tryon, you get a guy like Alan Bach behind you, you can learn so much through the course of a year. That's a good move right there. I look for those guys to rope well.
Tryon and Bach, 4 and 8, have the lead. This is Steve Young and Greg Bennett.
Well, they need to be 4 and 7 to win this short round, and they're going to take a run at it. Oh, nice run, but 6 and 4. They got into that wall a little bit. That slowed their run down. So they didn't get them. Travis Tryon and Alan Bach, they just showed them how to do it.
So 4 and 8 turns out to be the magic number. Tryon and Bach pick up the tour points and the big check here in San Angelo. Wrangler Pro Rodeo Winter Tour standings, Sproul and Harrell in the lead so far. This will change as we get a little bit deeper into the Wrangler Winter Tour. And Jack Daniels world standings, Tryon and Smith, 12,500 in the bank so far. Williams and Skelton, the reigning world champions, 8 in a row for those guys, and they're already on the leaderboard. Bronc Rider, next on the to-do list. Glad you're with us in San Angelo, Texas. Tour stop number 4 on the Wrangler Pro Rodeo Winter Tour. Ready for Rodeo's classic event, saddle bronc riding. Matt Marvel will kick things off. Jazz Time from Survey Championship Rodeo is the bronc. When you think of Marvel, you just think of just a nice classic riding style.
Yeah, and Matt falls right into the category of all his uncles and his dad. You know, the thing about it, Matt's off to a great start this year. He's top 5 in the world standings, top 5 in the tour standings, and that was a super ride. The thing I liked about Matt's ride right here is the mark out. See how he holds his feet? You know, you hold your feet on the mark out until you feel and you get the rhythm of the horse. And it's hard to do because it's easy to let them drop out of there and take a safety hold of a horse. But Matt, he just held him, got in time, and then did not make one mistake during this whole ride. Granted, that was a nice horse, and Matt should have ridden him that well, but you still have to do it. Good ride.
Jeff Willert next to go. 2 trips to the Wrangler NFR, 17th in the world last year.
I like Jeffrey Willert. He's one of those guys, he's got an aggressive style. And aggressive means how quick his feet get back to the front end. You can see saddle looked like it may have ran back a little bit here, Jeff, because he, you know, you could see when he reached up to set his feet, he couldn't get clear up and over the brakes at the end of that ride. A lot of that has to do with a lot of these horses have big withers, and maybe 2 or 3 jumps into the ride, your saddle will move back a little. But that's still okay. You know, aggressive ride. Everything looks good right here, but right at the end of this ride, you'll see how his feet just don't get clear over the brakes. Now, I do think his saddle slid just a hair. Not a big deal, but it affects your ride, and I know Jeffrey Willert felt it. Right there, you see at the end of the ride.
80 points is the score for Jeffrey Willert. Next up will be Cody Hot Sauce DeMoss. Went to the Wrangler National Finals Rodeo last year, eyeing a world championship. He's the focus as we get back on the road to the Wrangler National Finals Rodeo.
Well, it was kind of a lot more pressure on me. You know, showing up and Dan breaking his leg and Glenn breaking his leg, and then I'm going in number 1, and then everybody else in the world telling me, well, you better be glad they didn't show up or stuff like that. And that added a little bit more try to me right there, you know, just to aggravate them guys, you know, show them, you know, it don't matter if they would have been here. But you know, Billy Atbyer ended up passing me. In my opinion, he's the greatest bronc rider that ever lived, and it didn't hurt my feelings a bit. You know, he won it fair and square. That's great. You know, for your idol to come by and beat you, that's not so bad. You know, my goal is to win it 15 times. You know, and I'm dang sure going to put out the effort and go hard, and just leave it up to God and see how it works out.
You'd like to see Cody DeMoss at the Wrangler National Finals Rodeo? Just go to ProRodeo.com for information on how you can be there at the big cowboy party in December. And Butch, I promise the day's coming that when Cody DeMoss shows up at a rodeo, a lot of cowboys are going to say, well, at least maybe we can win second.
You know, I think that day has already gotten here. That's the point. You know, I like Cody DeMoss. I like his attitude. I like his confidence. I like his style. I don't like this bronc very well, though, because the deal happened here. Cody, good mark out, but this horse did not kick. Now watch this. When this horse gets going, he rolls Cody into his bronc rein. See how he's over there into that right stirrup? If that horse would have kicked, it would have helped Cody get square, but all the way, it almost looked like Cody's saddle even maybe tipped a little bit, but I think it's just the way the horse bucked. Cody didn't like the way he felt. He's smiling, going, well, so much for that. But what I like about Cody is that, you know, he's there to beat you fair and square. I like that attitude, you know, and tip your hat to Billy Atbyer. He beat him. He did it fair and square. I just like that.
It's about as formal as we've been with Mo Forbes. Morgan Forbes on the board. Boot Scootin' Boogie for Mike Servey as the bronc.
Yeah, Mo Forbes, he's off. He's starting, having a great year. He's in the top 15 in the world standings. You know, I like Mo Forbes. The thing that tickles me about Mo, and it may cost him down the road, he is deathly afraid to fly. So he won't fly. If he has to drive 3,000 miles to get there and do it in 24 hours, he's going to try to do that rather than get on an airplane and do it in 2 hours. And, you know, eventually he's going to have to start getting in an airplane a little bit to keep going to these big rodeos and winning. But right now, it really doesn't hurt him because he's a tall kid, but he's real aggressive. He gets way up in the front of horses. He sets his feet. 83 points for Mo Forbes. He now moves to the lead, and I'm glad to see it.
Now you give me my choice. Cool Alley, fly American. I'm going to fly American.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Ira Sagowski next to go, and Ira is a guy that's very entertaining, and he is really starting to find his prime as a saddle bronc rider.
You know what Ira does to me is he reminds me of Billy Atbyer back in Billy's early years, because he will hit the ground a few times going for first. But Ira's getting things set. You know, he's been to the Wrangler NFR now, what, 3 times? Real bravo. Everybody in the book knows this horse has a big rear out of the chute. No problem for Ira Sagowski. But the other part about Rio Bravo is your saddle wants to run back on him. You know, like I talked about Jeffrey Willard, he's a big, big paint, big withers. You know he takes that big rear and then he drops out of there. Great mark out. Ira does that part. But then if your saddle runs back, you can't reach up real high on the front end. Right out of here, Ira's doing it absolutely perfect. You see that saddle move a little bit, that jump, a little more this jump, and then you see the feet not getting way, way in the neck. That wasn't anything Ira could have done different. That's just the way that horse is built.
Dan Mortensen, of course, broke his ankle in November at the Pace Classic, trying to come back early on that broken ankle. Tough matchup here, though, with Brown Bomber.
He's a handful, throws a lot of guys off. Going to take a fast run out there a little ways, and then really bucks and keeps it up, bucks hard. And he'll throw you fakes one way and come back the other way, and you never really know where he's going.
Give me an update on the ankle.
It's getting better. I've been on, probably 7 or 8 horses, and it feels like it's getting better. So I'm encouraged. It's still awful weak and sore, but I'll have to baby it for a while.
You know, San Antonio is in the short go there. He's told the pickup man, come to a complete stop before you let me off. This is a fun bareback horse and pretty tough saddle bronc.
This is a tough saddle bronc, and Morton knows it. Now this is the test, not only physically but mentally. Dan, you know, there's only one way to ride this horse. You have to go at him. You cannot safety up. He takes that quick run like Dan said. His head's going to disappear, and then he comes around. And then his head will come back up sometimes. So Dan, you know, he's been on this horse before. We've watched him at the Wrangler NFR on this horse, and he knows he's got to work at it. You know, maybe not the perfect ride, but it's a ride, and it's an aggressive ride. You see Dan when he got off and clapped his hands together, because part of that was, you know, I'm back. That felt good. My ankle felt good. You know, each one of these is a stepping stone to just getting on and riding so confident. That'll work for Mortensen.
Still limping, but looks a little better when he climbs off. Mo Forbes, 83 points, holds off Ira Sagowski. Wrangler Pro Rodeo Winter Tour standings, Cody DeMoss, number 1, 51.5 points. Jack Daniels World standings, and Cody DeMoss right there as well. $10,000 lead over Ryan Mapston. Kind of like last year, just trying to put a lot of distance between himself and the pack. Next up, tie-down roping, barrel racing. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to San Angelo as we continue with the 2005 Wrangler Pro Rodeo Winter Tour. As we get into tie-down roping, one world champion in here is hoping to change his luck. Since making the short go in San Antonio, Fred Whitfield has hit a deer, had his horse go down with him in the arena in Tucson, and then had major truck trouble trying to make it back here to San Angelo. On the upside, though, he loves his draw tonight, but to be honest with you, it's not going to be that simple. For more on that, here's Butch.
Well, one thing's for sure, Jeff. Fred Whitfield hasn't won that many world titles by not being able to handle some adversity. But you know, the real test may come right here at San Angelo by the names of Blair Burke and Cody Ohl.
And there is Cody Ohl trying to help out Fred Whitfield. And Fred, as I mentioned, does love the draw. Thinks there's a chance he could be picking up the first place check in this go-around.
Well, he's in a position he needs to. He comes in, he was 31 seconds on 2 calves. So he's coming in at the bottom. So Fred needs to put the pressure on. Cody, Blair, got a little trouble right here. You mentioned he's been having some problems. It came right there. He lost his footing and hit the ground, but gets up and hustles through it. 10-7, but that little bobble right there may have opened the door a little bit for those guys behind him.
I got to think at this stage, Whitfield feels like he's cursed.
Yeah, there's no question about it. He's thinking, man, oh man, what else can go wrong? You know, everything was set up good, looked like it was going to be fast, and just didn't work out.
Cody Curry next to go, lives in Magnolia, Texas. 10-6 the number. See if he can get there.
Well, you know, when you look at the list, if you're Cody Curry and you look at the guys all around you, Fred Whitfield, Cody Ohl, Blair Burke, it inspires you, and it looks like it inspired Cody Curry. That was a aggressive run. Holy cow. This calf moves a little bit right there to the right, but actually that worked out because he just ran right into his office, but he hustled so quick. Beautiful run.
What a tough spot he's in, kind of sandwiched in between Fred Whitfield and Blair Burke, and he hangs an 8-second flat run on him. So Cody Curry not intimidated by being in between a couple of giants. Blair Burke next to go, and things have changed dramatically now. 7-9 to take the lead in this round.
Well, once again, Blair Burke in the top 5 in the world standings. You know, he just, every year, he's such a machine. But this isn't the best calf to have. You can see how aggressive this calf was. Comes right at Blair, but Blair finishes it off very good. That calf tried to get around him, though. He had to block him, bring him back around. Slowed his run down a little bit, 9-3.
Finished 3rd in the final world standings in 2003, 5th in the final world standings a year ago. Dying to get that first world championship. Todd Willis next to work. Cody Curry has made things tough on everybody. 7-9 or quicker, or you won't have the lead.
Well, look out, because Todd Willis has a run started to be all of that. Now he scoops him up off the ground, and another aggressive run, though. 8.8 seconds. He took an extra wrap to finish that tie off. Calf a little more aggressive, came back at him, so that slowed it down a hair, but 8.8 seconds, that'll move him well into second place.
So Willis in second, Cody Curry in first, and here comes Cody Ohl. Kind of a slow start in 2005, and that was by design.
Kind of got started off slow. I drew some good calves, and really wasn't practicing much. My family and I were in the middle of building our house, and kind of got my priorities mixed up a little bit, and got back into practice pen, and it's picked up pretty good. I got about 7,001 before the short round here tonight, and just going, you know, my goal is just to go with the big ones this year, and you know, get on the roll and do good here in the next couple months and go hard again. But got a lot of irons in the fire right now, and you know, it's just boys are growing up, and it's kind of changed my life a lot, and that's kind of my priorities right now.
You know, talking to Ohl, Burke, and Whitfield, they all feel like they let one get away last December at the NFR.
Well, you know, they did. And, of course, you got to throw Strand Smith right in there amongst them because they were all players. But Cody Ohl, he's going to try to get things done. You know, he feeds off this. When he sees an 8-second flat run, he wants to be 7-9 or quicker, and that's why Cody has won so many world titles. But, you know, it looked as though he had a run going pretty good here, but a few bobbles through this tie. Now watch him when he gets the calf on his side as he goes to pick up those back legs, stacks him in there, has a little trouble picking up that string. The calf strained a hair. But when you're trying to be 8 flat or quicker, those little mistakes end up costing you a few crucial tenths of a second.
9 flat. That makes him 3rd best in the short go at the moment. Last guy to work, Jimmy Locke.
You know, Jim Locke's one of those quiet guys that he will come and get you. Former NFR qualifier. He's got a good run started. This calf kind of gets up right into his arm, so Locke can pull it off. Oh, so close. 8.5 seconds for Jim Locke. He'll take it, but boy, he has his eyes set, or he had his eyes set on that 8 flat, and I thought he was going to get it done.
So Cody Curry's 8 seconds flat, good enough to win it. Jim Locke's 8 and 5, steals 2nd place. Ohl, Burke, and Whitfield all kind of left in their wake. Wrangler Pro Rodeo Winter Tour standings, Matt Shizawa the best at the moment. As for Cody Curry, well, he got a good performance tonight from his horse.
We're good, great. I love him to death. I got him this year from a friend of mine named Ronnie White, and he's been awesome.
Okay, give me your strategy coming in. I mean, obviously putting 8 seconds flat up there early. You had to, you know, think maybe you had a chance to get the average too.
Well, I didn't look at the average. I just wanted to win the round, and if I figured if I won the round, maybe I'd place in the average.
Jack Daniels world standings. Kate Swore off to a quick start. Jeff Chapman, who did well down in San Antonio, Texas, has now climbed into the top 5 along with Blair Burke. And now to the ladies in barrel racing. Texas Cowgirl first out. We'll see if she can set the pace.
Well, she sure could. This is a nice horse. You can see good forward motion in those turns. Drives out of it solid. Moves his shoulder good. No problem as far as hitting a barrel. A perfect pattern. We'll see if it's got the speed, though. 13 and 92 100ths. We'll see what that does.
That's Shaylee Lord. She wasn't qualified for the Wrangler National Finals Rodeo last December, but her horse was there.
Yeah, you're right. This is Slider, and what a great little horse. Actually, Molly Powell rode Slider and also rode June Holman's horse, Sparky, at the Wrangler NFR. And, you know, Shaylee, she just purchased that horse, and she called up Molly and said, you know, I have a horse you might be interested in taking as a backup horse. Good idea, because Molly won, well, over $100,000 at the Wrangler NFR.
We had a glimpse of the dirt outside of the arena right there, and June Holman going, it's a good thing this is an indoor rodeo because it has been raining all day here. And that's tough on these barrel racers, getting their horse into the arena and out.
Well, it is. It's also tough for them to go and warm these horses up before they run. Now, I mentioned Molly Powell at the Wrangler NFR. This was the other horse she rode there. June ended up 16th in the world standing. She sent her horse there with Molly. You know, that worked out well for Molly, and it worked out good for June because she got a percentage of the winnings.
Next up, Jennifer Wilson, just glad to be inside here where it's dry, and Holman taking the lead with that 13.91.
Well, I like this horse of Jennifer's. Good form, you know, I like the way he's got good forward motion, drives out of the turns, 13.93 by 2/100ths of a second. She put the pressure on June Holman, just didn't quite pull it off.
You know, 2 gates to choose from going out. She kind of took the middle there. Tricky arena for the barrel racers. Last to go, Marlene McCrae, been to the NFR, just a great ambassador for the sport.
You know, she is. She's also been a world champion, and she's had so much success on a lot of different horses. That's just a tribute to how well she rides. She helps every horse she competes on, and she gets in and out of there. Remember, 13.91 is what she's looking at. 14 flat is what she ends up with.
June Holman, 13.91. She wins the short go here in San Angelo and picks up all the Winter Tour points. Wrangler Pro Rodeo Winter Tour standings. Shaylee Lord on top, 76 points. Sherry Serby, another past world champion, number 2. Jack Daniels, world standings. Tara Bynum on top. Sherry Estrada right back in the mix of things. And Shaylee Lord trying to qualify for her first Wrangler National Finals Rodeo. One event remains here in San Angelo. It should be a wild one. We'll be right back. Back in San Angelo, 4th stop on the Wrangler Pro Rodeo Winter Tour standings. Brian Rodriguez, a big entry into the arena as the bullfighters find their spots. Should be a wild round of bull riding. Bobby Waller from Quail Valley, California, will be the first to go. And he is matched up with Backdraft. This is a bull for Mike Serving.
Well, at Denver, Backdraft turned back to the left. So Waller knows that much of it, but you got to be careful not to set any traps. And he does. He goes right to the left, but away from Waller's hand. He kind of dropped him down in there. Wow, it helped him up out of there. And that's what, that's what happens when you drop to the inside of a spin and get in the well like that. There's about one way out, and that's it. You can see everything looked pretty good, but you can see his free arm, how it dropped down. He's kind of rocked back on the end of his arm. Ideally, you want to be up over a bull that turns back away from your arm, and then you want to be a little bit hesitant when you make your move with your free arm. Don't drop your free arm too low. It sounds simple, but boy, when that's happening, it is fractions of a second that make it all work.
DJ DeMonu next to go. Wharton, Texas. Paleface is the bull from Classic Pro Rodeo.
Good bull. You notice DJ held that gate when he left the chute. That just kind of helps him stay up on his rope, but he's got a corner there. He does it. Nice ride. That was a good bull. Turned back. Pretty good to ride, but, you still got to do it. And that bull went out there quite a little ways before he turned back. So each jump, you got to position yourself and wait for that move. Big roll right out of there. Kind of fakes like he's going to go to the left, and then here he comes. Blinkers on, coming to the right. And away from his hand, but see the difference right here? See how he stays up over his rope, and then he makes that move with that free hand a little later than the bull turns the corner. That makes you not override the bull. 88 points, it all works out. We have a leader.
So DeMonu has the lead. Johnny Chavez next to go, and Johnny Chavez got back into good shape, riding shape, he said last year. Been to the Wrangler NFR on 2 occasions. Fresh country, pretty good draw for him. Out 5 times this year, been ridden 4 times. So Chavez went to the NFR in '97, went to the NFR in 2002. Would love to get back there in '05.
He's got to love the stats on this bull. You're right. They've ridden him 4 out of 5 trips. But Chavez, he's no spring chicken. 21 years ago, he competed here at San Angelo in the bull riding. So that's like playing in the NFL for 21 years. That's really unheard of. And Johnny Chavez, he really hadn't backed up his step. That was a very good ride.
Trying to catch 88 points, which is in the lead. He said he built fence, worked on the ranch, and he was kind of glad to get back to the arena.
Well, let me tell you, if you build fence, that'll make you want to do anything, including ride bulls. Anything, not let you build fence, because that's not a fun job.
So an 88 and an 87 sit at the top of the leaderboard. Josh Verberg next to go, Excess Energy. And this is the bull that we saw B.J. Schumacher win the short go in San Antonio on. What a fun bull.
Yeah, he guts it on right there to the right. Not a real big bull. And, I was just going to say not a big bull, and that's a bad spot to be in because he is down, hung up, and look at the bullfighters go to work, and he's still there. Rolled over that hand. His feet were clicked. Oh, man, what a wreck.
Everybody getting into the action there, trying to shake Verberg loose. He is hurt. One more look, and once you come down in that well, especially with a bull as quick as this one, you're in big trouble.
Well, you are. And the other part of it, Jeff, is his feet. That bull brought him down over his rope. What that does, that rolls you over your hand. There's no momentum of being thrown to the outside to rip your hand free. So he's actually, when you're going in there, you're hung up. The idea is if you can stay on your feet and let that bull jerk you back up off the ground, but that wasn't the case. The bull was too little. He just stomped the tar out of it.
J.W. Harris next to go. This is Barracuda. We go behind the chutes thanks to Dodge. His riding percentage not quite as strong as what we saw earlier with Fresh Country, so Barracuda a little tougher trip.
Well, he's only been ridden twice, but he has been ridden twice. You got to remember that. Just a big, strong bull, turns back right there to the left. Oh, big move right out of there. He's looking back to the right, and he slaps him, but I think it was after the whistle. You see him looking at the judges. He knew when he slapped him, it was very close to the whistle, but gets the thumbs up, so he's going to get a score. Good bull ride. Pretty basic stuff. This bull just turns back away from his hand, but right there you see how he moves out of it right at the end, fakes like he's going to go back to the right, and right there the slap came, but it was right at the 8-second whistle, and he gets the score. That's good to see.
Yeah, thumbs up an 80, so the leaderboard getting a little more crowded. An 88, an 87, and an 80. Will it change? B.J. Schumacher, Zach Oaks yet to ride. OLN's presentation of the San Angelo Stock Show and Rodeo from San Angelo, Texas. Tour stop number 4 on the Wrangler Pro Rodeo Winter Tour is brought to you by Dodge. You can take life as it comes, or you can grab life by the horns. By Justin Boots, standard of the West since 1879. By Jack Daniels, crafted with care since 1866. Please enjoy it the same way. And by Wrangler, for the cowboy in you. Well, to be on the leaderboard here in the bull riding, you got to be in the 80s, but some heavyweights still to ride. Zach Oaks, BJ Schumacher, and there is Zach Oaks. This is a bull formerly known as Cuervo Gold, Mr. Transmission, and he's a bull that Zach knows very well.
He's a great bull. I had him in Waco last year, and I was 90 points on him, and he's one of those ones that can do whatever it takes to get you on the ground. He'll go left or he'll go right, but he's going to be pretty bucky about it either way.
Knowing him that well, is that a good thing or bad thing, you think?
It don't matter, you know. We take one bull at a time. This one, I guarantee you tonight he's going to feel different than he did last time I had him. So, like I said, he's real unpredictable. So guys just kind of got to ride him jump for jump and hope you're there when the whistle blows.
First Wrangler NFR for Oaks a year ago, and he's a guy that you were singing his praises long before he qualified for the NFR.
You know, Zach comes from my country. I watched him in high school rodeo, and in fact, at that time, he was a better bareback rider than a bull rider. His brother Joe Oaks was the great bull rider. Next time I see Zach, he's riding bulls like this, and he has been on fire. He impresses me so much. He'll take a foot out of one, he'll spur them. And the other part I really like about Zach Oaks, he is just a good person. He's a good, humble kid. But when he rides bulls, he's not humble. He will stick it on one. You know, in the interview, he said, well, it doesn't really matter. One thing that was in Zach's, favor, he rode the bull. He was 90 points on the bull. He knew the bull, kind of how he was going to feel. I know he got on him confident. It showed up in this ride. That looked great.
Won the Clovis Extreme Bull Stop, his rodeo idol, Billy Atbauer.
Now imagine that. Mine too, and Billy came along after me.
Yeah, mine too, as a matter of fact. All right, here's BJ Schumacher, Wasp Stinger, another Guidry bull. We saw BJ win the short go in San Antonio on Excess Energy. Can he do the same right here on this bull?
Well, I think, this bull looks pretty good. Bobby Welsh was 82 points on him at San Antonio the other day. He came to the right, which I know BJ likes bulls either way. But he kind of moves forward to BJ. Oh, and I think he may have slapped him even. Finally gets back up and jerks the rope out of his hand. So a completely different trip. And that's why, you look at the records, you kind of understand what they're going to do, but you can't set any traps because it never works. This bull stayed hooked at San Antonio, stayed in that spin. He looked pretty good. Here, made the corner, then just jumped forward, kind of got trashy, and the rest of it, boy, it just made BJ not like him very well. There's no question about that. But BJ can't fight his head much about it either. That bull was not even close to what he was the other day.
Final Cowboy, Zeb Lanham. Hot damn from Guidry is the bull, and you can see this bull pretty ranked. Been out 13 times this year. 4 guys have made the whistle on him, and Zeb Lanham, another young, upcoming bull rider.
Well, he won the rodeo 1 year ago right here. I like Zeb Lanham. I like the way he tries. Oh, that bull tried to get him down on his head. Great effort by Zeb Lanham, and he is not quitting. Boy, that was pure effort, that ride was. Zeb Lanham was out of shape that first round. That bull brought him down on his head, and he made a big move to get back in there. That's cool stuff. I like that. I like to see efforts like that because that's what separates well, maybe I'm going to ride him and maybe I'm not. He absolutely took the fight to this bull, and it paid off. Look at here. I mean, there's no way he's supposed to make the corner again after he gets rolled out over that shoulder. But Zeb, he never quit. That's what I like about it. That's how you ride ranked bulls, and he stuck it on one. Nice effort.
Won the aggregate at this rodeo a year ago. Last year won a couple of rounds at Cheyenne. 91 for Zeb Lanham. So the last bull rider saves the best for last. 91 going to be good enough to win the short go. Zeb Lanham will be a repeat champion down here in San Angelo. Look at the final scoreboard. 91 gets the win. Johnny Chavez trying to defy time. He finishes in 3rd place with an 87. Wrangler Pro Rodeo Winter Tour standings, BJ Schumacher, Zach Oaks, and now Zeb Lanham moving in there. So 3 tough cowboys at the top. Zeb had this bull before.
The first time I ever seen him or anything, I drew him and I nodded my head, and next thing I knew I was on the ground. And all year, people have been riding him for 90 points and off and on, bucking off and riding him. And tonight, I just, wanted to get even with him.
Our Coors Extreme ride, we back up to Josh Verberg, Excess Energy. We saw this bull carry B.J. Schumacher to a win in San Antonio. A different story here for Josh.
It was, and I thought Josh made the corner in great shape. I thought it looked good, but this is a little bull. Josh is a little bigger guy, and it's hard to keep your feet down. But then the real wreck came after he lost his feet. He hung up. The bullfighters got in there. But man, oh man, I think he's going to be okay, but it's going to be a few days before he gets over the bruising he took. He took a stomping.
That's literally having a tiger by the tail. Jack Daniels world standings, Brian Richardson, the #1 cowboy at the moment. When we come back, it's sunshine in Arizona. La Fiesta de los Vaqueros from Tucson. Join us Sunday, May 8th, 7 p.m. Eastern Time, right here on OLN. That wraps up the Texas Swing. We'll see you in Tucson.